Welcome to the middle point of week number 7. And if you thought we stepped back in time to 2020, you are not alone with today's releases in Project 70. And this is strictly a shot in the dark, me putting 1 plus 2 together, hoping next card equals 3. But his first card had 1 creature, his second card had 2 creatures. And also, if you want to take this conversation deeper and to the next level, join us on Discord, and that Discord information tidbit will benefit you greatly here towards the end of the video. But my channel is just CRT space Sportscards. You can search for it on the Discord network. But welcome to episode number 20. My name is Chris, otherwise known on Twitter and Instagram is at CRT_Sportscards. And my website is your #1 resource for everything related to Project 70. And once a week on Sunday mornings, I do release pricing on every single first player or first artist, base card, and foil pricing. So if you're interested in the latest pricing on the cards, check out the website, crtsportscards.com. And now, even though we are smack dab in the middle of this week when it comes to the card releases, there is still time right now until 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Thursday morning to go back and watch my Monday video and get your print run guess in for that Kyle Lewis by Jacob Rochester. And of course, I did put in my 1 card order last night for that card. So hopefully the gold or the foil will be in that package so I can give it away to the print run contest winner. It'll maybe bring a tear to my face to give away that card when it comes to a foil or a gold, but I cannot wait to give that away if that is in fact what happens. But taking a look, of course, now way back in the Wayback Machine here, last week's releases Wednesday and Friday. On the Wednesday card, that Coco Chris by Jonas Never. That print run came in 1,877, and congrats here to Cardlands. Their print run guess, 1,873, was the closest to the print run without going over, so just 4 off. So congratulations, Cardlands, for winning this card free from me. And then closing out the week when it came to my Friday giveaway, Soulflies, Roberto Clemente. This is Soulflies, of course, second card in Project 70. That print run came in at 2,885, and Alex was the winner here, 2,880, just 5 off from that total. So congratulations, Alex, by winning that card free for me. But I will now also be adding 1 stipulation, and this is my fault for not clarifying this before. When you do put a YouTube comment on the video for the print run guess, no longer edit that comment, because I'm not able to see when edits happen. It's since I look at these print run numbers after the fact, there is that window where people can, if they want to get tricky on a free giveaway for a $20 card, go back and edit their comment to make their number better than it was. So just going forward, if you do have to edit your comment, I will no longer count that number for the giveaway contest, because I do want to make sure everyone here is playing on the same foot. And now, while that Monday print run contest from this week was a very special one, I do believe my giveaway tonight will be my biggest one of the year. There is just going to be 1 small stipulation, but I'll cover that here in a second. But when you take a look at the last couple of days of releases in Project 70, a couple of interesting trends have developed. But one major one here is we have not seen a New York Yankee in 4 days of releases, which means we're more than likely going to get 1, 2, or maybe 3 Yankees tomorrow, because Topps right now cannot seem to go a day or 2 without releasing a Dodger or a Yankee. But we know that disparity is going to be there because of where the artists live at and where the inspiration comes from, whether that be LA or New York. And of course, we know there are more retired and star players on those teams than there are, for example, like the Rays. There's not going to be a lot of players for the Rays, but we do know that Jacob Rochester did tease a Ray card upcoming, maybe on his 3rd release. So we'll see how that goes. But taking a look at the Dodgers specifically here, we had Sophia Chang release her 2nd card in the set. We had Corey Seager's 1st card in Project 70. Not the Seager that I want to see in Project 70 first, but of course, there are more Corey Seager fans, I think, in my opinion, than there are Kyle Seager fans. But of course, I'm a biased Mariner fan. But the interesting trend here when it comes to Dodger cards in Project 70, there have been 3 2020 Topps reimagined cards in the set so far, and they've all been Los Angeles Dodgers. So obviously this is Topps being very strategic here with their cards and putting certain players out and certain teams out, because as we all know, the Dodgers are the reigning World Series champions, and tomorrow that defense starts. I cannot wait for opening day. Tomorrow night, I'll be at T-Mobile Park to see opening day. It's going to be a strange time to be there. The world isn't back together, but baseball is back, and the Dodgers begin their World Series defense tomorrow. And with baseball being back tomorrow, we are also going to finally be able to get an answer to a question that we've had ever since last year, and that is, what would happen with this set? Now, we're speaking about Project 2020 now, sort of in the terms of Project 70. What would happen when live baseball goes back on? And of course, last year's shortened season, for me, like, it really wasn't a baseball season. I may have watched 2 games. I wasn't that interested in it. And I know a lot of fans out there were not interested. But we also know Topps at the time had a ton of publicity ready to go for the baseball games, for the live games, for stadium things. So we will find out what happens, but it's going to be very interesting to see if there's any kind of bounce in this step or bounce in this set when it comes to the fact that baseball is back tomorrow. And now, one player that we are all, I would think, excited to see what happens with his career, being such a young age and being such a developed talent, Juan Soto. We just saw another Juan Soto card in this set now, this time from Matt Taylor. And we know at the moment Matt Taylor's cards have not sold very well. That's just the honest truth here. But the one thing I give Matt Taylor credit for, he basically is a straight shooter. He tells it like it is. When there were numbers last year that were low, he basically said, why are you rooting against a low print run? That is rooting against the artist. And this time with this Juan Soto, he wasn't as direct with what he said, but he did say, this is the color palette I will be using all year long. And that color palette will be very simple, 3 colors, which I kind of like being number 3. But we have pink, orange, and blue. So if you're a fan of this Juan Soto, and I will say he did release a second image he was working on with Soto kissing in the air. I kind of did like that one a little better. That I thought of it more of a home run than maybe the bat on the shoulder. But this is a card we're going to get, and hopefully you're a fan of Matt Taylor when it comes to blue, orange, and pink, because this is what we're getting for the next 17 or 18 cards. And then closing out Tuesday is probably the set that I'm most, I would say, maybe leery of at the moment, or maybe one that maybe has the best companion cards already out for the set. We have Snoop Dogg with his second release. We have Mookie Betts from 1993 Topps. And if you're like, I think I've seen this before somewhere, you have. This is because this card is a direct companion to his 1993 album called Doggy Style. So when you think about Snoop Dogg here, and by the way, I'm also not 100% sold that Snoop Dogg is designing these cards, and this is just me going off of what I can look online. Maybe Snoop Dogg is licensing his name, and then other artists that he knows and works with is developing these cards. I don't know. I would just think that Snoop Dogg would have something on Instagram around this card when it released, just because of his popularity. I mean, 55, 56 million followers. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of what happens with his set. But this set right now, it feels like it's going to have a built-in companion set already. And this is second one up from 1993 and, of course, his 93 album. But now here's where it gets good. On the Wednesday cards, if you were not sold on Tuesday, there were some very, very nice releases. But when you saw these cards for the first time today, if you're like, is this card 401, 402, and 403 of Project 2020? You're not alone. We have seen all of these players before last year, of course, in Project 2020. And I don't know if this is the first time we've seen 3 players that we covered last year all on the same release day. But we had Willie Mays, Tony Gwynn, and Ichiro. But of course, this time from all brand new artists. Going in no particular order here, leading off though with Ichiro by Mikhail B. And if you remember my video when we talked about the Kershaw, I was not particularly sold on that Kershaw. I understood the direction of the set. It looked like where he was going. And but I wasn't sold. I did give it away for free because I wasn't buying it. But this Ichiro is a card I will be buying, not because I'm an Ichiro fan and collecting the set, but because it works. The colors are fantastic. The design of Ichiro, the design of the card, it just looks fresh. And I think When you compare this to the Kershaw, this card is a step above the Kershaw, at least in my opinion. Maybe if you're a Dodger fan, you think opposite. But if this is the level of work we're going to see from McKelvey going forward, this could be maybe the most modern looking set out there in the set. And then second up, we have Morning Breath with their Willie Mays. And this card for Willie Mays, when you take a look, of course, at their very first card in Project 70, which I don't even remember what it is right now. Oh yes, it was Mariano, 1971 Topps. How could I forget about that release? And look, Morning Breath is a two-person team here, but the key here and the thing that I'm really keying in on is the background of the card. This, of course, at least to my amateur art eyes, this is a stencil-based design. It looks really good, but what's in the background? When you take a look at that Mariano and now the Willie Mays, there is one distinct feature in both cards that I can spot, and there is an eye in each of these cards. I don't know right now if the eye is significant. It may not be. It could be completely irrelevant and I'm looking into something too deep that's not even really there. But I do think this card works again here with the Mariano. This is like a very Blake Jameson-esque set going forward right now, at least. We'll see if it continues. And now finishing up the Wednesday releases, we have Risk with their Tony Gwynn. And a couple of great things here about this card. And if you go back to my video last week, of course, 1991 Topps. So I am very, very happy personally here that we do get another 1991 Topps card here. But the question I have on this card, when you talk about looking at something too deep here, I saw the card and I said, why are there butterflies on the card? What is the significance of butterflies to Tony Gwynn to 1991 Topps? And I don't think I'm there just yet, but I did spend a good bit of my lunch break today at work trying to figure out butterflies, Tony Gwynn, 91 Topps. And the best I can come up with is the butterfly effect or the chaos theory. And when you think about the fact that the Padres could have been moved to Washington back in the 70s. And by the way, I'm taking this from an article I saw on Google when I Googled this today at lunch. There is no Tony Gwynn. There is no Tony Gwynn in San Diego. And of course, that goes with anything that we do. If there is not a Project 2020, there's not a Project 70. And I'm not about to give here a dissertation on the chaos theory or the butterfly effect. But if Risk here starts going super meta, this from a mental perspective could be just a very, very intriguing set. I do want to go back now and look at his Mike Piazza. Maybe I missed something major on that card because I did say at the beginning that card didn't feel like much of a risk because it looked like a finest card from the early 90s. So I need to go back and do more research on this card. But this card does present some interesting opportunities for the future. But now here is the best thing about all three of these Wednesday cards. I am going to give away all three of them, but here is the stipulation. This giveaway is exclusive to people who are on my Discord server. So every Wednesday show going forward, I'm not always going to give away every card on Wednesday, but this first time I'm going to give away all three. So jump onto Discord, download the app, search for CRT space Sportscards. There's a link below in the description. Jump onto there in my episode 20 thread. Put your combined print run guess for all three of the cards. The three people closest to the total print run of the three cards will each win a free copy of the card. So jump on Discord, go to CRT Sportscards and put your guess there. So I will see everyone on Discord here in about 15 to 20 minutes. Of course, it is a completely free app to use, so check out Discord. And with that, I will see you all on Friday evening for episode number 21 of the Project 70 show.